Okay, so welcome back to another edition of RPMbassy. This week, I'm doing a video that I should have done this a long time ago, because this is one of my favourite albums, one of my best albums, and I've bought in so many kind of variations over the years. And the band are just incredible. We listen to a lot of this. I have done this band a couple of times, but not this album. The album I'm talking about is The Specials, with the debut album also entitled The Specials. Now, this was released on 19th of October 1979 on Jerry Dahmer's Two-Tone label. I mean, that Two-Tone label was just so influential. Even now, collecting the Two-Tone stuff, but at the time it was just taking over in 1979, 1980. Everyone you knew was into ska. And as a 9-year-old boy when this album came out, everyone was playing this. I was obviously coming from punk at that time. As a 9-year-old, if you heard my other videos, getting into it with the Sex Pistols, and then ska came along. So you were either a punk or you were into ska back then, or coming soon was the kind of romantic stuff was coming as well. But this came out in 1979. The album was, people look at it as like a defining moment for the UK ska scene. It was produced by Elvis Costello, who was also an artist on the Two-Tone. To me, he wasn't very kind of Two-Tone, but he was on the label, but he also produced this album. But it captures the disaffection and anger felt by the youth of the UK. We call it the Concrete Jungle, and they do a track called Concrete Jungle as well, which is a phrase borrowed from Bob Marley from his 1973 album, Catch a Fire. But again, another brilliant album. I should definitely do a future video on that at some point. Concrete Jungle was used to kind of describe the grim, violent inner cities of 1970s Britain. And this album captures a mixture of original material and several classics from old Jamaican tracks we can talk about in a minute. But when this came out, yes, the UK was grim, it was dark, but we had music like this, and this was kind of reflecting what was going on at a particular time. And I was 9 years old when it came out, so I didn't really have too much to do with what was going on. My head was just full of music and punk, and I never paid a bill, so I never knew what was going on. I didn't know where money came from. I didn't care at 9 years old. I was just into music. That was my thing. But watching videos of what Britain was like in the 70s, it was pretty grim. The live version of Too Much Too Young is the track that everyone kind of knows. And to think that was live, what an incredible track, which was part of a 5-track EP. But it was known as the Special AKA. They did a few tracks as the Special AKA live. That went to number 1 on the UK charts, and that was just a massive record at the particular time it came out. The second single from this album was A Message to Rudy. It was a great track, but I'm sure there was better tracks on here. It's not one of my favourite tracks, but that's a cover, which I didn't know. Because several of the tracks on this album are covers of old Jamaican songs, like Monkey Man was originally a hit for Toots and Maytals in 1969. Too Hot was a Prince Buster original from 1966, and the opening track, Message to Rudy, was a Dandy Livingston single in 1977. So there's quite a few covers on here. You're Wondering Now was originally performed by and recorded by Andy and Joey in 1964. So again, there's a cover, and they kind of tweaked that version. The classic one, though, is the rework of the Jamaican original Too Much Too Young, which is based on the Lloyd Chalmers Birth Control and Stupid Marriage, draws heavily on that Prince Buster hit, Just 400 Years as well, also known as Judge Dredd. So there's quite a lot of covers, a lot of tracks that are kind of influenced by these kind of great original ska records. There are some original tracks on here, but I didn't realise there's so many kind of cover versions on here and so many tracks influenced by. That's fine, that's great. So this one here, I mean, I've got this in so many different variations, but I couldn't find my original, which I'm a bit worried about, because I remember buying that in 1979 with my pocket money, believe it or not. I had to save up for it, but it was such a big record, we had to go and buy it. We had the single, but we needed the album. And the album itself, the front cover is just the classic specials, Two-Tone, black and white. But what I thought was unusual at the time was they had the track listed on the very front cover, where normally people put it on the back. It's on the front. This release, actually, and it's good I'm talking about it because it's coming up soon, was the Great British Group's album day. So once a year they release like all the particular albums in different variations, maybe a different sleeve, coloured vinyl. It's coming up soon again, but I bought this, I think it was a couple of years ago, from HMV, who do the album day. So I've got that coming soon. Looking if there's a couple of records on there, so you should check out the list for the album day coming up. I think it's the next week or so, a couple of weeks. But this was part of that. It came out in clear vinyl, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Now the back cover is the same in all the variations of this. They've never changed this cover artwork at all. It's a picture of the band looking up. I mean, classic in their kind of suits, their pork pie hats and the glasses, and Jerry Dahmer's there, and you've got Terry Hall sitting there as well. I mean, they were very young as well. If you look at this, they were very young. I think they were like 17, 18, 19, which is ridiculous. I mean, when I was 17, 18, 19, I certainly wasn't this good, that's for sure. And then you got the band here itself, and you've got some credits here. And there's not a lot of credits on this album at all. Even the inner sleeve, there is no inner sleeve. I'm going to show you that in a sec. And what I do like about this version is you get the obi strip on here. I mean, I've still got the cellophane on it, but you get the obi strip here, which I thought was quite a nice. So I could take that off, part of the album day. And part of this album day here was the clear vinyl, and I thought it looked beautiful on clear vinyl with the two-tone as well. That just looks so good. Look at that. Lush. The other version I've got is the 40th anniversary edition. And the reason why I bought this one is because it was mastered at Abbey Road Studios on double 45 RPM 180 gram half-speed master, and it does sound really good. Everything's the same except the track title is the obi strip, whereas on the 40th anniversary the obi strip is here. The track title is the obi strip, so you can take that off if you want to. Okay, but again, I've got the cellophane on there. There's nothing different about this. It's all the same tracks. They've just reversed the colour on the obi strip. Exactly the same image on the front and back, but the obi strip on the back has got the other releases from the specials. For instance, like you've got more specials, you've got In the Studio, you've got the singles, you've got the Live at Moonlight Club, you've got the best of the specials. There's quite a few special stuff out there. Again, the reason why I like this, because it was double 45 RPM half-speed mastering. You've got a separate vinyl for this. So you have like 2 or 3 tracks on each side. So there's vinyl 1 and vinyl 2. So I do have this variation, and it does sound really good. If you can get your hands on the 40th anniversary double vinyl, it was a bit expensive, I've got to say, but it was definitely worth it because it is a classic album. Now, this album here, in June 2000, Q placed the specials at number 38 in its list of 100 greatest albums ever. Okay, Pitchfork featured specials at number 42 on its list of the 100 best albums of the 1970s. It's funny how whenever I think of this album, I always think of the 1980s, but it's not. It's right at the end of the 70s, 1979. Rolling Stones included the album in its number 68 on its list of 100 best albums of the 1980s. The reason why it came out, why they've got the 1980s, is because this album did come out later, a year or so later in America, and that's why they've got the 1980s, not 1979 like we have, because it was quite late going to America. Here we go, it wasn't released in 1980. In 2013, Enemy ranked the specials at number 260 on its list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. And it's also included in the 1001 albums you must hear before you die. And they are absolutely right. If you haven't heard this album, you have to check it out. If you want to hear what Britain was like in 1979, then check out this record. Definitely add it to your collection. And that is the Specials with their debut album, also titled The Specials. Brilliant. Check it out.